I just had a funny thought. Like, if a trans woman walks into a room that Henry Cavill's in, does he
Mm.
stand?
Oh, good question. I wonder. And does he shake their
Um,
hand?
i- is it like an automated thing? Is Henry Cavill a litmus test for whether you are a man or a woman?
Yeah. Do you know, this would be interesting. This would be so interesting because it's not a performance, it's innate in him. So I wonder, because his biology would be like, nope, right? And he'd be like, how you doing, brother? Like, oh shit. It would be, yeah, yeah. But
Yep.
he's also incredibly polite, incredibly well mannered. He would never be disrespectful, as far as I'm aware. So, how do you balance that?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. This is a
Hmm.
great question. If 100 points, if you have the answer to this, I don't know what 100 points gets you, but
That beats everything else.
yeah, you get my respect. That's about it.
It's worth a lot.
I don't give it out
I'm
freely,
I'm
guys.
yet to get it, so I don't know. But
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of A Woman Refined. I'm your host, as always, Lauren Renee. That's me. And this month on the podcast, we have our very first guest, Stuart Gadenne, back again. Thank you very much. That rhymed, and I'm quite proud of that rhyme. Anyways, um, Stuart and I alluded to this chat on the very first episode 1, where we spoke about Tom Selleck, and we alluded to the fact that there was someone else in the modern day who was very, very similar in their stance on masculinity and the way that they conducted themselves in the real world, and that we might do an episode on it. Well, this is that episode. And I'm very, very happy to share this with you. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think you will all enjoy it. And there is a few little things. If you're watching this on YouTube and Rumble, if you're listening, by the way, did you know that you can view this? You can see our beautiful faces. If you're watching this on YouTube and Rumble and you see that my screen has a little like electricity burst across it every now and then, that is because unfortunately I left my charger plugged in to my computer the whole time. And that's what causes that. So I apologize for the epileptics here. That might not be very conducive to nice viewing. However, um, the other thing that you need to know when listening to this episode is we play a little game unintentionally with you guys. And we have a point system. There are a few times in the podcast where Stu and I don't know the answers to some questions that we are posing. And we very graciously offer it up to the audience and allocate points if you can get it right. So if you go along and you listen to this podcast and you get some good points gathered and you want to DM us at the end, we have a special prize for you. You'll find out what that is when you listen. So, grab a pen and paper or make a mental note of how many points you get in this episode of things that you can answer that we cannot. And I look forward to seeing who is the winner. Otherwise, you know where to reach Stu. If you don't, I'll put all of the information in the show notes. He also mentions it at the end. Do you know where to reach me? A_woman_refined on Instagram, a woman refined podcast at gmail.com, and obviously YouTube, Rumble, any way that you find this podcast. If you could obviously do the, usual things like share, subscribe, give me a rating, give me a review. It would really, really help. It helps the algorithm, and it also helps me to understand what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to see more of. I will continue doing this regardless of if you do that, but I would love it and would feel very appreciative if you could help a sister out. Anyways, that's it from me today, and I hope you enjoy the potty. See you soon. Um, well, obviously, chatting about your favorite person. in the whole world.
Me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I should probably introduce you. Not that I'm sure everybody knows who you are by now anyway, but
Well, I'm kind of a big deal.
yeah. Uh um all right. Well, Stuart Gadenne, welcome back to A Woman Refined.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, it's been a minute since we had a chat like this, but it's actually been a while since we just had a chat. We caught up.
I know. It's been a while. Miss you. What's been going on?
It's been a while.
Keep going. You have a microphone. Like, keep going. Sing the song.
No, that's all I got.
We'll just do this is an episode dedicated to 90s karaoke. And
Hmm.
this is all we're going to do today.
Was it 90s or was it early 2000s? It's been a while.
Well, look, I'm just going to look that up now and we'll just put that to rest. Um,
Anyway, like this is not keeping people entertained, you know. People click on the buttons to listen to you and
do
they
they?
don't want to see you search engineing something.
Look, they're not going to see me search engineering it. I'm still here talking and you can see me. It's 2001. There you go. Because someone is yelling, you know what? Someone is yelling at the speaker right now, going 2001. I remember because I was like in my car and my
I've got
girlfriend at the time said this.
I've got the album right here. What
So
was the band?
Stained, I think.
Stained. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Stained. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't
Anyway,
really looking that hard, but there you go. You feel vindicated now. It was 2001. If you're playing along at home, congratulations. You've won the first point on this episode of Woman Refined, and we'll be keeping score and we'll let you know who has won the trophy at the end.
what a game show.
But today we alluded to this conversation on the very first episode of A Woman Refined. Um, back last year when you and I had a chat and we spoke about the masculine, musky scent of Tom Selleck. And at the end of that chat, we alluded to the fact that Tom was a little bit like someone else in the modern day and someone that you and I are pretty big fans of. And a lot of men that I know are really big fans of as well. I actually had someone send me a man send me a meme today, which I forwarded on to you. Not a meme, a reel, the one with the phones.
I haven't even looked at it. Go.
Ah, from American Psycho, and they're like showing all their hottest
I've,
girlfriends. Like
was
this
it
one,
on Instagram?
yeah, it's like this one is
See,
my
here's what happened. I've implemented like a morning routine and stuff like that, and got all these things happening at the moment in my life. But I decided, right, I'm not going to look at social media at all in the
Mhm.
AM. I don't do it in the AM, and then I'm so fucking busy that maybe I'll get to like maybe I think about it about 5 p.m. or something. And then it's like dinner, and I'm like, no, I'm not pulling my phone out and looking at Instagram, and then you just forget about it. And so I go days now without even jumping on and looking.
It's pretty
Anyway,
good.
that's not an excuse. I was just trying to tell you why. You know, you got to explain to people why you don't look at their memes now.
Why? Why are you not
Um,
responding to my 472 reels that I sent you just this morning? So
oh
rude,
man, there's so many.
inconsiderate.
There's so many. I don't know. Anyway, it's in there. I trust that it's a good one.
It is. It's these men talking about these women that they find attractive, and they're like, let's see, Bob's over there. And Bob pulls out his phone and it's Henry Cavill. They're like, nice, nice,
Nice.
excellent. Yeah, so Henry Cavill. It's Henry Cavill, everybody. If you were playing along at home, that's your second point today. Ding, ding, ding. You were
The Henry
correct.
Cavill hour.
Henry Cavill, the man that the liberals love to hate, but they can't because he's so hot. And it's not his fault. It's just he was born that way.
Do they?
Yeah, they do because he's so traditional and he's so like masculine. They're like, ew, don't do that. Be more like Pedro Pascal, who's like, very feminist, or Harry Styles or Timothy Chalamet, be a little bit of a ladyboy.
All three of them, I'm convinced are just psyops.
Yeah, probably.
They're plants by the CIA or whomever. Um, I'm still waiting for. I mean, I like Pedro Pascal. I like the stuff that he's in, but I'm still waiting for him to come out. I'm convinced if he
Yeah,
hasn't
look,
already. I don't really follow the pop culture enough.
he can't come out. Too many older women are really into him.
Mm. Anyway,
Anyways, but we are not. We are, I mean, you may be, but I am particularly wanting to talk about Henry today. And why do we want to talk about Henry? Because Henry is a very particular type of modern celebrity. He's unusual in his stance and things. And he is he's not afraid to play the game yet still be in his integrity. And I think one of the things that I find the most attractive about Henry, because to be honest with you, and I know this is going to sound really trite, but it's not, like he's not my typical uh person that I would find attractive. I don't generally like dark haired, dark looking, like tall, dark, and handsome is not my thing. I like the Nordics generally. But what I find particularly attractive about him is his integrity. There are things about Henry, like when I heard other co-stars of his talk about how he stands whenever a woman enters a room, regardless of where they are or who they're around or whatever. It's just within him to do that. Um, that is something that I just go, ooh, I like that. He's doing something that is respectful. One, like the act in itself is completely respectful, but he's doing something that is not normal these days. Should be, but it's not. And he's doing it whether anybody else is doing it or not. He has a level of integrity that is above and beyond the average person, let alone the average celebrity.
mm,
And that is incredibly rare. And that's something that I find to be his most attractive quality.
mm, yeah.
What is it about
That's,
Henry that attracted you, Stuart,
well, I
as a
am
straight
a
man?
yes. Let's get that out. I'm a straight dude. I'm not
You're married.
attracted in a sexual sense to Henry Cavill, but I'm a big fan of his body of work that he's put out. So um, he's a nerd.
He is a
He's a
nerd.
nerd, and it's not that he's just a nerd or a geek or however you want to describe it. Like he's um, into a lot of the things that I am also into.
Mm,
Um, you know, The Witcher or video games or playing with little war dollies, painting them up and playing war games with them. Uh, these are all stuff that I like to do.
hmm
It's the fact that he just comes out and says it and goes, oh, I do this, and you see him in interviews and things like that where the interviewer is trying to trap him and trying to like make a mockery out of him. He's like, yeah, I do these things, and they're like, oh, well, you're a man child, you're doing these things. It's such a dumb thing to do, and he's like, I do them. Like that's who I am, and I do them. Like it's almost like he he's playing some really good chess there,
mm,
and just backing them in a corner. But it's almost you could look at it from another sense and go like, he's just almost doesn't even get it that there's a game going on.
no,
He's just so up front. Well, it appears to be up front. You never know what someone's actually
no.
like when you got actors and things like that. Who knows? But from the appearance that you get from Henry Cavill in interviews and how he themes on when he's not playing a character, it just seems to be this very upfront person and very clear of who he is. He doesn't care what you think about that
Mm.
necessarily. Um, and yeah, I think it does have something to do, maybe, with his body. Like, but he's physically intimidating. But he knows who he is too. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm a big dude and I'm really good looking and heaps of people love me. I'm maybe he's a nice person. I'm not really sure about that either. But he just he has this self image that he holds, and it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
He's not holding that up against anyone or anything else.
Hmm.
Um, that in popular culture is one of the things that I'm attracted to in characters
Mm.
when I'm looking at it. So when I
Mm.
see a human being who's also doing that, I'm like, ah, very
Mm.
cool.
Yeah. Or this is the integrity, isn't it? He's just who he is, like regardless.
Mm,
And that is just attractive to all humans. Like you're in a not sexual way, but in like an energetically magnetic sense. It's very charismatic. It's very like when someone is confident like that, regardless of who they are, it kind of makes all the rest of us who are a little bit not as confident, a little bit uncomfortable. You're kind of like, oh, oh, okay, you're just you. You're not putting on any social graces right now. You're not saying the right thing because it's like the thing to say. You're just you. Huh. Okay, cool. And it's very like endearing. It's very endearing. I mean, for most people, I guess if you're a raging liberal and um, you don't really like the things that he likes, then you're going to have an issue with it. But for most people, it's an endearing quality, and it is a bit disarming. I find his, like I don't like video games. I do like a lot of the shows that he's in. But I've followed Henry from way back when he was in the Tudors. It was the first time that I saw him because everybody knows I'm a history buff and, watch the Tudors religiously. Still one of my favorite series. And if you want to see a little more of Henry Cavill, that's definitely where you can do it. He didn't have the big buff body back then. Like he had just a normal guy's body, like a young man's body, still buff, but it wasn't like Superman buff. But he had this reputation in Hollywood back then for being the guy who was like almost got the job. So he would go for these roles, these really big roles, like Batman and things like that. And he would just always be second. And so for years in Hollywood, he was not well known. And he was known in the industry because everybody kept going, oh, this guy again. Yeah, he would be good, but not the right person, not the right time. And he would just miss out and miss out and miss out. And it wasn't until he was in his 30s that he really hit the big time when he got Superman. And everything had to shift. But even you can look at there's a picture I think that I saw of like Chris Hemsworth and Henry Cavill both in their costume try-ons in their auditions for Superman and for Thor with their
mm.
just very normal human bodies. And then it's like that like their costumes don't really fit and they just look a bit like geeky and daggy like the rest of us do when we dress up in costumes. And then, you see all the hours and hours of workout and the testosterone and stuff that they do. Although Henry says that he's natty, he wanted to see how far he could push his body naturally, but I don't know if that includes testosterone or not, because technically testosterone is a naturally occurring chemical. So who knows how you play that one. But, after all of that, then you see their bodies and they're totally transformed. So before he looked like that, I was a fan of his work. I was a fan of him and I was like egging him on, like, come on, I really wanted him to get a big role because I thought he was a really great actor and I wanted other people to be aware of him. He was like my favorite underdog. And then he got the big role of Superman, and that was good. But I feel like the reason I bring this up is because I feel like because he paid his dues, he almost kept like a level of humility about him. Like he had such humbleness because he'd had so much rejection. Yes, he's a good looking guy. Yes, he's a big guy. Yes, he's confident. He went to an all boys school, wealthy private school. He comes from a family of four brothers. Five boys is a lot for anyone to grow up in. Um, but that's going to keep you humble in itself. But he comes from a somewhat semi-privileged background, but he had like years and years of being told, nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. And so when you finally do get this big role, I can imagine there's a part of him that's like, don't celebrate too hard. This might not last, or this might not be, what you think it is. And I think my impression is, I think that that's what's happened. Is he's habitually become like a really humble, really integral person that's just rolled over to who he is. And he hasn't had this really early fame or hasn't like got it first time. It hasn't been like riding on his looks the whole time, like some other people who like, move to Hollywood and off they go. So yeah, that's my theory about it all. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I think. I think that's what comes across when I hear him speak.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like um the late bloomer sort of thing
Mm,
pops up into my mind when I look at him. I'm like, yeah, you grew up, you know, playing Warhammer or video games or whatever. Like, you were never the most athletic person. You obviously, maybe good enough to stay afloat, to have enough confidence, to get the wins or whatever it is that
mm,
that you need throughout your life. That's going to thrust you into what I think would be the insane idea of going like, yeah, I'll go to Hollywood and become an actor.
mm,
I'm not really sure what possesses normal human beings to do that, if any normal human beings do that. But um, yeah, he's obviously had enough wins there, but not enough to be like, I'm on top of the game. I'm number one.
mm,
I'm the best there is. Um, yeah, and then that transition, that because I didn't really know him in Tudors. Superman was the first time I got exposed to this
mm,
dude, and I didn't like him. It's
mm.
like, who's this fuckwit? Um, and it just like, after I'd watched it, I was like, that's Man of Steel. So uh, Zack Schneider's Man of Steel.
Mm.
Yeah, after I watched it, I was like, that was a pretty good movie. And actually, he really
He did
took the
well.
part. Yeah, he did well, and he was big too. Like, because I
Mm,
looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, he's just got a big dude. Cool. I've seen that a million times. Like every '80s film, it's just like, yeah, stick a big dude in there, right? And it works its
mm,
ass off. I get that, but I was like, oh no, this guy actually, like, there's something to him that's nailing this role.
mm,
Um, so that, yeah, I mean, that's where it came about for me. And then I actually saw some videos of him doing the workouts pre Superman,
mm.
and I was like, oh yeah, this, like, if this is consistent, and people were saying, yeah, he was consistently working out like this is starting to remind. This is giving me Viggo Mortensen type
Mm.
vibes. Like, this dude is training and training hard. Like, if you ever watch the Viggo Mortensen behind the scenes Lord of the Rings stuff, that dude was like working sword work,
Mm.
like it was his job, because it was, I guess, but like, he was actually going into
Yep.
Mordor to battle, right?
Yes.
Um, or, not that I like this guy that much, but Hayden Christensen,
Mm.
Star Wars, he really worked his ass off for the sword fights or the lightsaber battles in
Hmm.
Star Wars. Yeah, so yeah, I saw these videos of this guy working out, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's a weapon. Like,
Mm.
he's actually putting into work. He's not just, sitting there with. I mean, he probably does have somebody who's looking after his food, and obviously trainers and things like that
Hmm.
are all doing it, but he is actually doing the work there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it was impressive.
Because he also grew up uh overweight. I don't know if most people know this. I think only the super fans do. He was like a fat kid, and they used to call him Fat Cavill at school. And there's a really endearing story that he tells on, I think it's Graham Norton. I don't know that guy, that British talk show guy. I think it's Graham
Mm,
Norton.
yeah.
And he's there with Russell Crowe. And Russell Crowe met him when he was at school and he was filming Proof of Life there. And he was playing rugby. So he was kind of like sporty. And Russell said he wasn't fat when he met him. So I'm guessing like he'd hit a growth spurt and kind of dropped the baby weight, dropped the chubby little cheeks a little bit. Um, but also I can imagine like going to an all boys school and being one of five boys, like you're going to get a nickname that's going to stick regardless of what you look like. You'll be whatever you were when you were 8 for the rest of your life. Um, but yeah, he met him and he said all the other boys, like, they were talking about rugby or whatever, and this one kid wanted to come up and talk to Russell about like acting and asking him like, what how do I become an actor and what should I do and what's your advice and blah blah blah. And Russell actually wrote him this letter and just said, like, take a the first step is like the first step of 1,000 miles, blah, blah, blah. So I think that you shows that like quite early on, he had like, because acting is not something that boys are kind of encouraged to do. Really, like the drama kids, like I was a drama kid. I wanted to go to Hollywood and I wanted to be an actress. That was my number one dream from like 4 years old. I wished. And I went to like little courses for NIDA and stuff like that. But I just couldn't handle the thought of the rejection over and over again. I was like, I don't think I can take that. So I just didn't. And I went into the music. I studied music industry business, and then I ended up working for Warner Brothers anyway, doing PR. So I went into the business side of the movies because I still had that love of the industry. I just went to the other side of it, and I felt like a lot safer on that side. So actually, it's funny that you mentioned Zach because I worked with Zach for a little bit on one of the movies, but yeah, like being a drama kid, the cool boys are not in the drama class. Like that doesn't happen. So, I think being a kid that was maybe a little bit geeky, a little bit like overweight, a little bit liked acting, it's not the typical for someone who's probably tall and very good looking, that's not the typical path that you would take. But yet, here we are. But regardless of that, I think where I'm curious, I want to meet his mom and I want to meet his dad. Like, where have your morals come from? Where have these values come from? Because I find that very interesting. He's like, where did you learn to stand up when women walk in a room? Like, who's told you to do that? Did that come from school? Did that come from your parents? Do all your brothers do that? Like, this is how my mind is. I'm curious about that. Is that your own value that you implemented later in life? I just think what a beautifully respectful way that he must approach the world in order to embody that every time. And this is what one of his co-stars was saying. Every time he did it like without fail. It wasn't a show. This was just in him. I find that fascinating. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, there's other clues there too about, I think, maybe what's going on in his head, or how he does see the world, or how he approaches it, or how he wants to be seen by the world. It might be another way to put it. There was a interview that I saw of him around one of those Enola Holmes
Yes.
Netflix ones. Yeah, I think it was around that. And he rocked up, and it was just in a room somewhere. I was watching it because the interviewer actually asked him about Warhammer 40K. Amazon picked up the rights to it, and they were going to make a series or a movie or something with him in it. So I was trying to glean information about that. But he rocked up to this like, little interview thing, as actors are forced to do, and answer all the questions as actors are forced to do. And he came in this immaculate tweed three-piece suit. I'm like, looking at this guy going like, were you on your way to a job interview or something? Like, what the... Most actors are sort of like in t-shirts or, whatever. And some actors are like, you can see that they clearly don't want to be here doing this shit. But he was there and he was present and like leaning in and confirming questions that were asked, or going, what do you mean by this? He was engaged in the conversation. It was just this amazing thing to watch, where I'm like, this guy's really into this. Like, yeah, and he's dressed up like this to come to this interview, not for anything else, not like he was playing a part. He kind of looked like, I'm like, hey, did you just come off the set of Sherlock, being Sherlock Holmes? But that obviously wrapped up filming, months and months before that. Yeah, it was just really interesting. And I'm like, who is this dude? Like, these are all little things that as I'm, picking up more and more, I'm like, who is this guy? And where the fuck does he come from? Is he like some sort of weird throwback?
Yeah,
some sort of conservative dude?
Always dressed immaculate, always has his hair done, looks like he smells nice. Like, you can, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can look at people, you're like, you probably don't smell very good. He looks like he smells delicious because he looks clean and he looks well put together. You're right. He's always engaged. He's always polite. His manners are immaculate every single time. He's so well spoken and articulate. He's obviously very well educated, has been brought up properly. Like, there's no other way to say it. He's been brought up well. And that makes such a difference. And the way that he asks follow-up questions, but it's also his passion for his work that he does that I also find really fascinating and also very unusual, because not every actor has, like, some actors are just happy to get the role. And I'm sure he is just happy to get the role, but he is particularly integral about the role that he does and why that he does it. And that's so evident in what happened when he left The Witcher. I don't know if you want to
Well,
explain what.
even how he got into The Witcher,
Okay, well, I don't know that
because
story. You tell me that one.
well, they didn't want him.
Mm,
um, yeah, he according to some of the folklore and
mm,
stories behind it, um, he heard that it was going to be made, and he was like, "Yes, I'm into this. I've played the games. I've read the books. Like, let's do this. I must be Geralt of Rivia. Like, this has to happen." So he sent in an audition tape, and they were like, "Cool, thanks, but no." And he's like, "No, let me come in there." And he apparently, like, he went in there a second time or something, and he just really pushed for it. Um, he like there were some other things that he did. I'm sort of blanking on what it was, but I remember listening to it, going like, "Whoa, if this is all true, like, yeah, like, fuck, you must really like The Witcher." And
mm.
evidently he did. He's really quite into it. Um, yeah, so even him getting into that, being Geralt of Rivia, made up that voice for it as well. Um, which, well, that was one of the rumors that they were like, "Oh, that voice." Actually, it kind of messed with them a bit because they're expecting. If you've ever read the books, or even played the games, I guess, but especially read the books, that's probably not. Well, it certainly wasn't the sound of the voice in my head when I was reading the books. Um, yeah,
Be
and
a
so
little more high pitched in your head. Was he like, oh fuck?
no, he was just, well, I mean, he goes on these massive, massive monologues in the books. Like, Geralt of Rivia actually talks a lot, whereas the you
Show.
know in the show he's quite famous for being fuck, uh, mm, you know all these sort of grunts and which is in there, but in the books. But like, there's also
Ladies,
these.
you're welcome for your Spotify smart listening today from Stu.
Yeah, what's that thing that where people just listen to weird sounds from microphones?
ASMR.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
the female version for it.
Yes.
Fuck. Um, yeah, yeah. Apparently, the voice too was something that they were like, "Oh, hang on, actually, this could work." So yeah, he obviously pushed real hard, got on there, got the role he wanted with that, which was then very surprising
Mm-hmm.
that he left the show.
Yeah. Under suspicious circumstances, shall we say?
Mm, mm. Which again is part of the fascination for me. There's like this little mythic story that's being built up here around this character called
Mm.
Henry Cavill, where I'm like, what am I seeing here? What, like, oh, you're being booted from a show, and people going, yeah, we can't work with him. He's just impossible to work with. And then I'm seeing stuff like rocking up to interviews in these suits. I'm seeing stuff like him really like talking about The Witcher and the franchise of The Witcher in the world that I'm going to butcher this name, Andre Sashiki.
Ah, that guy.
Yeah, the author of the Witcher series.
Uh-huh.
Um, he like really respected his work and his property and wanted to bring it to life. Obviously, not in the way, exact way the books are, but put his own stamp on it. But didn't want it changed too much. And whenever you see him talk about this, he talks about it with distinct passion for it. Like, he's obviously into this stuff.
Mm.
And then trying to marry that up with like, oh, this guy's just really difficult to work with, and he's bad, and we had to get rid of him. And yeah, like, there was a few remarks like, oh, he's sexist, and you
Mm.
know that sort of stuff. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Is he? Is he though?
Hmm.
It's my kind of sexist. I don't mind that kind of sexist. Yeah, look,
Sexy sexist.
sexy sexist. That's right. Look, having worked PR, um, I'm not going to say that it's not impossible for a, a show to like leak things about someone leaving to be more in their favor, shall we say. I never personally did that, and I don't know anyone who personally did that. We weren't making the shows; we were just selling them afterwards. But having worked in that industry, yeah, for sure, you would absolutely want to make it look like it's the other person's fault. It's never you're going to be your fault that you're actually screwing with the franchise, screwing with the integrity of the story of the like. This is a huge underground fan base. This is like, it's not some new made up world that now has these followers who are just from the TV show. This had its own world and heavily like popular, like very profitable is the word I'm looking for, very profitable franchise pre series. So to come in and like screw with that and to the point where someone has lost the ability to want to play their favorite character, how badly are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
I saw in one interview where he was like, there was someone who didn't even know what they were on a set, and like there was a piece of like set there and it was a significant part of the story. I'm not a Witcher fan, so I don't know what that is. I apologize. And if you are screaming at the at the screen or the radio right now, this is your third point. If you know what that is, the thing that it was. And he was like, you're working on this series, you've made this thing, or you're the director or whatever it is, and you don't even know what this is. And this is a significant thing, and it would never be used like that. You would never say this, you would never do that with it. And you're just going, oh well, it's there, so we'll just do that. It was something around that kind of vibe. And I can imagine that would piss me off too. If I was a really big fan of something, for example, like I felt very similarly when I really loved the Tomorrow series by John Marsden, Australian author. And when the Tomorrow When the War Began movie came out, and then the series, I was like, yeah, no. Like everybody was like, that's not how we pictured Robin. Like that whole character is incorrect. And like everybody knew it. Everybody was like, no, that's incorrect, And it made you not want to watch the show anymore. It made you uncomfortable because you're like, what are you're changing something that is so integral to the story that now it's like, I don't even, what am I even watching?
Yeah. Yeah. This is something that people who are not nerds maybe do not understand
Mm,
the power of the collective delusion that is a franchise. Um, so this has happened. It happened recently in Warhammer 40K. It happens a lot in Star Wars in the last few years, where they metcon something or recon something. They go, oh, now the history is actually this. So it was this, and we've kind of trashed that, and now we've restarted this thing, or we've inserted this thing, or done whatever. And fans get really upset about it, and people go like, "Who cares? The whole thing's fucking made up." I'm like, "Yes, it is. You know what is also made up? Money. Our entire money system that people fucking worship and think is the most important thing on earth is utterly made up. It is a collective delusion, a lie that we all agree on for some fucking reason, or we all have to agree on because we're forced to
mm,
by the government. Um, and the problem is that if you change that, it kind of is fucking annoying, which they do,
mhm.
right? We get inflation, and $10 no longer buys me what $10 bought me when I was a kid growing up. Like I could go into a shop with 5 cents and I could come out with a bag of lollies. I could go into a
Nah.
shop with 5 cents now and I could come out with exactly sweet fuck all. Like not a fucking thing. And that's annoying, right? Because somebody is doing that. I'm not doing it. I didn't agree that my 5 cents is not worth a bag of lollies
Mm.
anymore. But somebody did it. They fucking changed the narrative. They changed the story. So yeah, it pisses people off. And like I think Cavill is either acutely aware of that or is just so much a fucking fan of this stuff that it pisses him off.
Mm.
So he doesn't want to fuck with it.
But
Um,
again, it's the integrity. Like he's got integrity and he's willing to like walk away from his job in order to not have to go against his own value set. Like, I swear this guy is going to be unvaxxed. Like, not to bring that into conversation. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, he's the type of guy who would have been like, yeah, okay, I won't work because it's against my value set. And that's something that's so amazing and so rare. He's just got like a level of integrity that is just unheard of these days for any celebrity. It's rare in humans.
Super rare. And kind of cycling back to what you said at the start, that people find it endearing. Some people find it endearing. I think actually the majority of people find it threatening and offensive when
Mm,
somebody stands up.
mm,
When you do something and
yeah.
you're like, "Yo, this is just me doing my thing." People are like, "How dare you do that? You're calling me a shit person." You know,
How are you
being
allowed to
being a
do what you want? I'm not.
yeah. Well, being a parent's a great example of this because, like, fuck, everyone's got a fucking opinion on it. But
Mm.
like, I'm doing this, and people are like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. Why would you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Why would you fucking sit there and let your child or stuff your child's face full of fucking seed oils and you know weird fucking TV shows and send them to school to get fucking indoctrinated into the trans clan? Like, you know, we all do it. I'm not fucking like you raise your child however you want.
Mm.
How I'm raising my child is not a comment on how you are raising your child.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm raising my child is how I'm raising my child, as an example. So Henry Cavill's going around living his life, doing who he is, being who he
Mm-hmm.
is, and people are fucking like melting down at
Mad about it.
this throwback, this Neanderthal, this fucking woman hating patriarchal white man. That's what he is.
Cis white man. Yeah.
How dare he?
He's so conservative and traditional. He had a child out of wedlock.
Mm.
Terrible.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things about it is that he's not just like, yo, I'm from the 50s, so
Mm.
get in the fucking kitchen and make me a sandwich. Um, he's not like that. There are shades of who he is that I think give people the vibe like
Mm.
that, or he is showing up because we're talking about masculinity. He's showing up as a masculine male, and he's putting his foot down on things that he cares about,
Mm.
whatever that might be. And I don't care who you are. You got to like you should respect that.
Mm.
People do not respect that though. They go like, you'll be well. One of the things that was thrown at him, in particular on The Witcher, I remember this because the director happened to be a female, and so they
Yeah.
were saying, well, he hates females because he would not. He kept on going at this director because blah blah blah, and he was just a nightmare to her, and it's just because he's a man and she's a woman. I'm like,
Mm.
no, it's because he's a Witcher fan and she is not. Clearly,
Mm-hmm.
she's got an agenda, which clearly started to really leak out into the show in season 3 because parts of it were fucking unwatchable to me. I was just like, oh, man, like you're lucky you got Henry Cavill in here because I don't know if I can keep watching this. Um, yeah, it was just rubbish. The story writing took it down a big downplay.
Mm.
And you could see them. They actually tried to scramble and pick up parts from the book again to go like, shit, how can we tie this back in now to salvage this, I guess.
Mm.
But the story ended up being, yeah, Henry Cavill's leaving because he hates women, and you know that people don't believe that, and they can't quite get it too because they're like, ooh, that's really nice, standing for a woman. Like this is kind of a
Mm.
broader societal thing. Ooh, dude, opening a door. Oh, I'm an independent woman. Don't open my door, but I really like it when you open my door. But don't do it for me. But oh, fuck, it just really turns me on when you do that. But don't you dare try and turn me on, even because that's sexual abuse in some way. You opening a door, like fucking gears crunching in the heads, and it just becomes a confusing mess. Which is welcome to 2025, aka
Mm.
confusing mess.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Is that a dog in the corner there that I can see? I was like, what's coming into the screen there?
Well, oh god, yeah, that is a dog.
It's like there's some little ears popping in. Hi.
Hello.
Um, yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? Because masculinity is about knowing, I mean, look, not that a woman can tell you what masculinity is. My experience of healthy masculinity is a man who knows his direction, a man who knows his values, a man who knows who was raised with good morals, and a man who knows his goals. So someone who has like the motivation and the witherall to stand by his own principles and to do it in a respectful way. Like there is a healthy version of that, and there's a really unhealthy version of that. Andrew Tate. Sorry, just had a frog in my throat there. Um, but
Did you
you know
say you had Andrew Tate in your throat there?
that. No, thank you. That is disgusting. Um, but you know, he that is the definition of what is missing in this world right now is men standing up for what they truly believe in, um, and having strong principles. Like a whole lot of our problems would be solved if we could get back there. But the problem is we keep telling them that when they do that, that's toxic masculinity. So men are afraid now to do that. This is the thing. I think there's so much fear. They're so afraid of being called something sexist or a bigot or a homophobe or accused falsely of like harassment or sexual abuse for like, there was this discussion around like men do not approach women anymore in the street because they don't want to be seen to be harassing someone. So how are people meeting each other? They're not, etc., etc. Birth rates decline, all that kind of jazz. But it's this. It's just comes down to fear. It comes down to even if you were accused of something like that, you have to have the guts to know that you could back yourself and that your family would back you and stand behind you because they know who you are. You know that you could back that you're an integral person, that this is not like your character. And if you have the balls to do that, because it is who you are inherently, it's not a show, then you will stand up and do all those things. Like that dude is not afraid to be cancelled. Like they tried and he was just like, nah, I'm like a nerd who like respects women. I stand for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, good luck.
Mm.
Good luck. He was like, I'm gonna tell you that you're an idiot and you're doing it wrong even though you are a woman. I'm not gonna like kowtow to the whole like, oh, sorry, whatever you want. Yeah, like the future is female bullshit. He's like, no, it's crap. You're doing crap work. I
Mm.
mean, he didn't say that, but this is my impression of him. You can only do that when you really respect yourself and you have no fear of the backlash of that, whatever comes from that, because he has a lot to lose. He has a lot to lose. And for him to continue to stand up for that, he must have this fearlessness where he's like, it doesn't matter what they say. I know who I am and I know I can back that. And I'm willing to risk that because my values and principles, my integrity of character, I would never forgive myself if I didn't. And that's what it comes down to. And I think that's true positive strength, healthy masculinity.
Mm. Yes. There's there's kind of a line, changing the world. People think that you got to change the world by changing the world instead of changing the world by changing yourself.
Mm,
And that's, for me at least, one of the hallmarks of masculinity is going like, actually, no, here I am. And again, like I'm not throwing shade on you necessarily, unless I am, but I'm just existing as who I am and doing what I am. And the Stoics, not that the Stoicism is necessarily masculinity, but it does, I think, in many ways speak to the masculine mindset. Talk about the unflappable nature,
mm,
um, which I love that term. That you're a flag in the wind that does not
mm,
flap.
mm,
Okay, you point this way. You're a direction post. You are the stone in the storm. You are the rock against the waves. Like things are moving, but you are here.
mm.
you've decided what your moral compass is, and that's what you guide yourself by, not by the whims of the crowd, not by the
Mm.
changing of the wind, not by the fad that's going on. Um, and it can be super offensive to people, and that's one of the crazy things to me is that people are so offended by somebody just trying to be themselves.
Mm.
Because to me, I've never heard, at least, Henry Cavill's out there going, "You must do this. You must act like this, man. You have to stand up when you walk into a room." Like, if you want to have someone do that, then go listen to like tape from the 30 seconds of snippets I've heard. It's always like, you need to be doing this, and you should be, and a guy should be, blah blah blah. And it's all these
Mm.
like, you should and thou shalt and blah blah blah. It's all this like stuff. I'm like, mate, you don't know me, and you don't know what the fuck I should be doing. Um, and same from whatever angle you come from in the world, like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are sitting there pointing fingers and going, yeah, you should. And I've never heard Henry Cavill say anything of the sort. Like, he's just like, I don't know, this is what I do, it's who I am.
Mm.
Yeah, and again, people find that crazily offensive.
Yeah. Like he just like he's not towing the party line. He's not doing what is the latest. He hasn't put the latest flag in his bio, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. The
But this is what they
the
expect from
really,
celebrities too.
yeah, but like, I'm often curious about the celebrities, what's actually going on there when they go on these little rants and do stuff, and you're like, are you doing this because you believe in this, or are you doing this because somebody who holds purse strings, or you owe favors to or something, is saying, hey, we need you to say X, Y, and Z about this war over in this country now that has nothing to do with us at all, but we want something to do with it. Um, yeah, I'm often really curious about that whenever celebrities start walking, like start towing lines, start speaking out too much. I'm like, what? Why is this court jester saying this? Like, is this court jester an ex Navy SEAL? Like, did they serve in the Marines?
Mm.
Like, because there are a couple that did a bit more about war. I'm talking about specifically now, but apart from that, why would I listen to Jane Fonda about
You
fucking
wouldn't
war?
listen to her about workout.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, she knows how to work out, I think.
um, well, my answer to that is always ego. And these people have been told you have a platform, you have influence, you must speak out. You're the only one people will listen to. You can make a change, you can make a difference. We love you. We need your voice. You're it's just the ego inflation. And so they think, yeah, I must speak out. I
Mm.
do have a platform. I do have a voice. And to some extent they do. And to some extent they do have influence, but I think they don't realize that they have less influence than they think. Because if you say the wrong thing, then all of a sudden you don't have any influence anymore. It's it's not actually that you have influence. It's that people want a representative of their belief system, and they will put support behind that person. And if you speak out against those people's belief system, then you are no longer their representative. It's like, well, I've told everyone that you're like me and that you think like me and that you're a good person because you believe the same things that I do. And now you've gone and ruined it all by having your own opinions. Can't have that. I don't like it.
You're
Cancelled.
out.
Cancelled
Yep.
immediately. So,
Next.
yeah, but I think also, like Hollywood is very left because the left side will always fund the arts more. And they're always in an echo chamber. They're like brainwashed in that sense. I was a massive lefty when I was over there working. I was a pro-vax lefty, yelling at people for get your vaccines. I was all about it. In the office, particularly, I remember that. But I didn't know anyone who wasn't like that. I didn't know anyone conservative. There wasn't, I mean, there could have been, but I was unaware of that. Um, it was just not cool. And the whole industry is about being cool, like being up to date with the latest trends, what's going to get the most likes, what's going to get, the biggest eyeballs on you. That's all that really matters. And so your views are shaped by that. Your ego is on a fragile balancing beam, of
Mm.
like, I better say the right thing, otherwise I'm going to lose a lot here. So I don't know.
I
It's hard, and he does well at just going, well. He doesn't speak out about anything really. I'm not. I know he does like some run for things. I don't know. Like, this is
no
your
idea.
fourth point if you're listening here. Um, yeah, he does some like charity thing, I think, where he does like some marathon running for, I don't know, like mental health or something like that. But other than that, I don't really know him to be somewhat political or somewhat outspoken about his values or, his morals. He just is. He doesn't need to say anything. He just is.
Which is how I like my actors. Silent until they need to say a
You
line.
just like
Like
silent films. Charlie Chaplin, my favorite.
silent until they need to go, mm, fuck.
So it's going to be
Um,
me cutting up and editing this before, just taking all of Stu's fucks and like putting them at the beginning, just making a montage as the opener.
fuck, 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 fuck.
I'll just put a beat to it.
Um, yeah. Um, yeah. It's I don't know. Maybe he's just acutely aware of who he is too. He's just like, no, I'm an actor. I'm somebody who pretends to be other things for a living. Like that's at best, I am a keen observer of human behavior and condition, and I can express that physically. And I think if an actor realizes that, then they're sort of like, well, yeah, I've got no place putting out political opinions unless I'm also wanting to be political. If I also want to run for governor of California or what did not Ace Ventura, Jesse the Body Ventura, where did he become governor of?
Oh yeah, Vermont or something.
Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
don't know.
Anyway, coincidentally, ex-military, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm just thinking of Predator. He played a military guy. No, I think Ventura was in the military and became a wrestler. Somebody fact check me on that.
5 points, 5 extra points if you can get that right. DM us at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah, um, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say
Mm.
about the political sphere. I don't really care where you sit either. Yeah, it should be pretty obvious. I think what you were saying though, what we're seeing now might be a bit of a breaking down of what has been a torrent. Like it's just kind of been like, oh yeah, actors are actors. Maybe yeah, there's a bit of left in there. There was definitely right wing people when I was growing up, who were actors or
Mm.
musicians or whoever. And then something happened where it just shifted really, really left, and not just left as in like, okay, yeah, I've got left leanings. It's like left, and I have to be vocal about it. They're like
Mhm.
vegans or CrossFitters or something like they can't not fucking talk about it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm this fucking way inclined.
Yeah.
But we are starting to see this breakdown of that, where people who are speaking out, like on the opposite
Mm.
side, are now getting still like they're not getting totally ripped apart. I was just talking to a friend actually about Kanye West, and I'm like this two dude should have been buried under the avalanche of cancelness many moons ago, but somehow it's almost like he went through the fire, and now it's the more he does it, and the more they try and be like, look how bad that is, the more light it just shines on him, and the more popular he goes.
He went through the eye of the storm and just came out the other side of the tornado.
Yeah,
Well,
yep,
I think he gets the label of like mentally unwell. So people are like, do we
yeah,
really take anything seriously? Probably not. But there are,
yeah.
I mean, you go back and think about any kind of award ceremony that happened in the 80s or 90s, and everyone was like, I'd like to thank God,
Mm,
and I'd like to thank my mom. And everyone was there were some conservative people in there. Um, but yeah, you're right. Now there was something that happened where it went very, very left, and now anyone who is slightly even Christian is very like, oh, that's a
Oh,
bit
that's weird.
offensive.
Mm.
How can you be like an actor and like support this cause, blah, 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 and you're like a Christian and you're married with like 5 kids, like so rude. Like if you take time off
I,
being an actor is whatever. What were you gonna
I
say?
I'd just like to thank uh, Beyonce.
Beyonce. Yeah.
Beyonce. Is that the right answer?
It's
Oh, don't
definitely
kill me, Beyonce. Um,
did you hear the conspiracy theory that Kanye was saving Taylor Swift's life by saying, when he grabbed the
yes.
mic?
Yeah. Oh, I was like,
Kanye had the foresight.
I
He's a
love that
hero.
one.
He's a hero all
Yeah.
along. He's the
Yeah.
hero we didn't know we needed.
Yeah. 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 Not the hero we wanted, but the hero we needed.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Um, yeah. Yeah. Man, I love that whole shebang. It is a funny little thing though to watch those little montage videos of how all that ties in together.
Mm,
Um, but yes. Getting back to the point though,
yes.
Mr. Henry Cavill.
Oh yes.
Um, yeah. So I'm actually interested to see where the Warhammer 40K show or movie, I can't remember what they said they were going to do, how far that gets along because he apparently is going to star in it, but
Isn't he
there was some
producing
sort of
it?
agreement. Yeah, there was some sort of agreement that he had to be a producer in it.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing that because he wants some sort of creative power in it.
Mm.
Because I think I get the feeling he gives a shit about 40K,
He
about
wants
Warhammer.
veto. He wants veto powers.
Yes, and already though,
Is he a little Caesar? Is he
in
getting this like kind of reputation already?
well, here's the funny thing about 40K. It's for those who don't know the backstory of what Warhammer 40K, what we're
That would
talking
be
about
me.
here.
So please explain it to
Yep.
me.
Okay,
Thanks.
so it's a little game you play with tiny miniatures, and you build an army and you paint them up, and then your friend or whoever does theirs, and then you've got all these rules. It's very fucking long, complicated rule set, and you then play out and you roll dice to see who hits who and who blows up who, and it's all great. It's all space sort of stuff. It's set 40,000 years into the future, and mankind's
Oh.
like way different now, and
Oh.
um, it is at its core when it was created, it was space racism. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes
Okay.
about it. Like the Empire of Man is totally xenophobic, hates all other races in the galaxy, and its goal is, in order for us to survive, we must kill everything else. So they're just out there
Okay.
kind of crusading, defending because there's other, there
Yep.
are bigger, badder things that are trying to kill, that are legitimately trying to wipe out the human race and everything else. But it's just this endless war, this grim, they call it the grim dark future. So endless war, and everyone's an asshole. And you kind of think with these war games, usually there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, and everyone's like, oh, the good guys are the humans, and you're like, actually, like read up on them. They're, these aren't the good guys. These are space racist. Um,
What's the point of the game?
just to uh, you know defeat your enemy on the
Okay.
battlefield. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, there's different types of missions you can play. So you might need to hold a certain piece of terrain on the game. You set up all this terrain on a big table. Um, fully, if there's somebody who plays 40K too, and your mind's melting down at my crayon-like explanation of it, just pump the brakes and calm down. Like I'm not going to go into crazy depth of it. And also, um, I don't play 40K, so there's that. Um, But anyway, the people who do play it are fanatical about it. I do like the story behind it, and I've been out of it. So I sort of went into it as a kid. There's also another version that's set in like a fantasy world with elves and orcs and stuff like that. That's the one that I was into. Um, anyway, I joined the army and gave up all this nerdness and never saw these things. And then I became a hippie, and I was like, well, nerdness, like playing games, that's not spiritually enlightened. And then I've come out of that, and now I'm like, no, I actually do like fucking painting miniatures, and playing war games with my friends. So I'm gonna do that. Um, yeah, the story behind it and how it all unfolds and the mythos and the all the things that interconnect in it are fascinating. There are literally, I want to say, hundreds of books, like thick novels that go into all different parts of the galaxy or the universe in it. So anyway, I've been tracking it a little bit more lately, and the people who own it, called Games Workshop, have been subtly changing things and going, maybe a bit more woke with it already. And this has been a marked uptick in this sort of behavior where they're changing things and they're doing what I was saying before, where they're changing things and like, wait, that was never in the law. That was never part of this. And they're like, no, it was always part of the law. They've been doing it post Cavill saying, yeah, I'm producer in this. So I think they're trying to grease the slippery slope. So when the show does come out, they're like, oh no, look, there was this and this. We always had trans warriors. Trans warriors was a big part of it. Um,
This is
yeah,
bullshit. Sorry. That really pisses me off. I'm not even a fan, and that pisses me off.
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any trans warriors in it at the moment. But the funny thing was they had this. Um, you've got this one army, and I'm trying to explain this so everyone can get it. They're the ones who protect the emperor.
Mm-hmm.
The emperor's dead, kind of. He died in the Great Battle 10,000 years ago, and he's kind of kept in this state of like semi aliveness on his golden throne, and
Okay.
he's like an immortal,
It's like
super
Weekend at Bernie's.
powerful. Yeah, like
Okay. Yeah.
super futuristic Weekend at Bernie's
Yeah.
with the world's most powerful magician,
Oh,
aka the
cool.
Emperor.
Okay.
Yeah, and he keeps kind of the universe in a sort of balance. We're bringing a form of light
Okay. So he's like
to what would
Weekend
other.
at Dumbledore's.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. I got it.
Um, yeah. So anyway, there's this elite guard that look after him,
Mm-hmm.
and all their miniatures have always been men, and all the
Mm-hmm.
books have always been about men. And it's just like, yeah, they pick men and make them superhuman and give them this cool armor, and they're really really good at doing what they do, warlike stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, they and this also, here's another little link to this. This is the army that Henry Cavill plays.
Uh-huh.
So if you ever look up little videos of him painting
Yes.
miniatures, he's painting one of these
Yes.
Adeptus Custodes, they're called.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have heard him
Anyway,
talk about this.
yeah, they bring out a new bit of lore and they're like, oh, yeah, this female one. And people are like, hey, what? Like the record scratches. What? Female Adeptus Custodes. And there was like within 24 hours, this huge backlash online. Like the nerds got fired up and they were flipping cars, or maybe tiny miniature cars because they don't have the arms, but they're like, getting angry, flipping their tables. And it's Games Workshop. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be interesting. What are you going to do? They'll just be like, hey, yo, guys, it's 2025. Also, women exist in this fucking universe. And we're putting them in now. All right, that would have been the tact I would have gone with. They did not. They did not. They put out a press release or a tweet, and it just said, no, females have always been a part of the Adeptus Custodes. And I was like, oh wow,
Just
that's
gaslighting.
gaslighting, bro.
Yeah,
you're
100%.
you're trying to gaslight the wrong people, because these nerds, like Warhammer 40k nerds, their brains are deep in the lore.
They've
Like
got
these are kind of your Uber
screenshots
nerds.
from 1997 before computers.
Yeah. They're holding on to this stuff, and some of them are like old, like these. We're talking about 50-year-old players who've been playing for like 30 something years,
Mm.
40 years. Like they're deep in it. So yeah, this is what's going on in the background too. So this is the latest kind of cold face where I'm looking at Henry Cavill. I'm like, how's this one going to play out? What's Amazon going to do? Because Amazon has a bit of a reputation for
Mm.
taking franchises and how would I put this? fucking
butchering
into
them.
oblivion. Yeah, like really grossly destroying it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm talking Lord of the Rings here. That was not pretty.
Yeah. Well, I guess time will tell. Maybe we'll have to do a follow-up episode on like what the hell has happened. Maybe
Yeah,
like a year from now because it's due to come out next year. Yeah, 2026, I think is the
I,
TBC.
I, yeah, I haven't seen the solid dates on it, but yeah, that sounds about right timeline wise.
Yeah, that up. What's it
I,
called?
I
Oh, yeah,
totally
40
went on a
candles.
rant. Yeah, sorry about that. Like we totally got away from masculinity, but the point was like how will Cavill steer the ship or not?
Well, I guess it depends. It depends how much power he has. I guess what he negotiated.
Mm,
Henry Cavill has provided a fresh update, which is currently where am I up to? Has been in various stages of development, with Cavill finally confirming that the show is moving forward in December 2024. Yeah. Do they mean
just
December
check it.
2025? Because this is published like last month. I think that must mean December 2025. Um, he said it's a process he's thoroughly enjoying. As he says, it's a tricky IP and a very complex IP, and that's what I love about it. Bringing Warhammer to life is a dream come true, but it's different from what I've done before in the sense that I haven't had my hand on the tiller of things before. It's wonderful doing that. The tricky IP and a very complex IP, and that's what I love about it. The challenges that come with putting this on the page in a way that is doing justice to that complexity, that trickiness, and that nuance is a challenge that I'm enjoying enormously. Enormously.
Yep.
Okay. Fans of the title have been waiting for years. I'll have to likely wait years more as he's got roles like in Enola Holmes 3, and Guy Ritchie's movie In the Grey, and other projects like Highlander, which will be developed for Warhammer. Okay, so maybe it's not 2026. Maybe I was thinking of the Highlander. That'll be
Connor
interesting
McLeod.
to see him as the Highlander.
Mm, yep.
I just think, I think he should lean into the the role that he's been given. You know what I mean? And I guess he kind of is with doing his like he's like, I am a nerd. So I'm going to lean more into doing all the nerdy roles. But I think he should really lean into like they're going to pin me as this like sexist conservative. All right, I'm going to play all the like hyper masculine men and watch the people flock. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I think that would like if I was his PR person, I'd probably advise that. I'd be like, yeah, go for it. Do all the like go back and like remake all the 80s films that were making all the ladies swoon. Just do that.
Yep. Yep. You can't replicate, you know, that 80s vibe. You can't replicate Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone in their prime. Even, your Dolph Lundgren, your Jean-Claude Van Damme sort of next level down sort of stuff. That it's not going to fly anymore. It doesn't apply. And you watch those movies now, or I watch those movies now, and I see that you just couldn't make that nowadays. It
Mm,
wouldn't work. But there can be a new version of that. And I think like Jason Stratham kind of
mm.
started to kick into that kind of mode.
It's
And
unfortunate
yeah,
that he's not like that in real life, though.
I've got no idea about that dude
Mm.
at all. And I've stopped watching his movies because it's basically the same movie, um, just on repeat. But he was doing action movies and they were entertaining enough.
He could
Um,
do Waterworld, Henry Cavill. He could totally replace Kevin Costner in Waterworld, and he would make it great. That was a great film that I just think is so underrated. I love that film.
Waterworld was an underrated film. Yeah. Postman was
Postman,
an
yeah,
underrated film.
yeah, this is
Kevin
true.
Costner.
So see,
Um,
look, because Kevin Costner now, Yellowstone, people are like, John Dutton.
mhm.
Oh, John Dutton, we like that, right? No one's giving Kevin Costner shit about being a hyper conservative right wing Montanian. Is Montanian the right, whatever, turn of phrase? No one's giving him shit about that. They're all like, yes, daddy memes on like the internet about that. But if Henry Cavill does something even vaguely similar, he's copying you're a sexist, impossible to work with, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Maybe we just got to
what
wait
didn't
20 years for him to come into his prime.
Kevin Costner also like left Yellowstone?
He
Not sure what that was
did.
about though.
He did. Yeah, I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, but yeah, one of my favorite sayings is that a fool allowed to persist in their folly will soon become wise. And I think like another way of looking at that is anything allowed to play out for a long enough time will become true in a sense. That's kind of what I feel like. Or I hope at least for someone like Henry Cavill and other people out in the world sphere. I'm not even talking about actors, just human beings. That if you hold your own space, if you have done the work to actually look at who you are and go, no, this is who I am, and develop yourself as a human being in whatever sense you want. If that is right, and you continue doing it, and you hold on to that, that will be proven right.
Mm.
That yeah, given a long enough timeline, if Henry, as you were saying, Henry Cavill continues like just like I'm just going to lean into it. I'm just going to be the hyper masculine dude. I'm just going to be Superman. I'm just going to be, Connor McLeod. I'm just going to be, insert 80s superhero here, whoever it
Yeah.
is. People like what that will turn into is people going, "Yep, that's actually what I want to watch. Yep, I'm
Yeah.
going to go to the cinema. Yep, here's the money. Yep,
Yeah.
dang, money flows. The studios will see that and they'll go, ah, oh, actually, this total trash that we've been putting out, which isn't even a script, but we've just been trying to insert little agenda notes in there. That's not what people want to see. What they want to see is a good, well-written story with a
Yes.
positive role model in it.
Yeah. He'll end up, 40 years from now, like Clint Eastwood on his porch with the shotgun. Get off my damn lawn. And people will be
But
like,
with an English
bravo,
accent.
bravo.
Get off my lawn.
Yes, with a very British accent. It's very
Because
inappropriate. You're trespassing right now.
um I just had a funny thought. Like if a trans woman walks into a room that Henry Cavill's in, does he
Mm.
stand?
Oh, good question. I wonder. And does he shake their
Um,
hand?
is it like an automated thing? Is Henry Cavill a litmus test for whether you are a man or a woman?
Yeah. Do you know this would be interesting? This would be so interesting because it's not a performance, it's innate in him. So I wonder because his biology would be like, nope, right? And he'd be like, how you doing, brother? Like, oh shit. It would be, yeah, yeah. But
Yep.
he's also incredibly polite, incredibly well mannered. He would never be disrespectful, as far as I'm aware. So, how do you balance that?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. This is a
Hmm.
great question. If 100 points, if you have the answer to this, I don't know what 100 points gets you, but
That beats everything else.
yeah, you get my respect. That's about it.
It's worth a lot.
I don't give it out
I'm,
freely,
I'm
guys.
yet to get it, so I don't know. But
No, you absolutely have my respect, Stu. Especially
thank you.
after I cut all those little fucks and put them as a nice little clickbait for all the people, and my videos go viral. Thank you, Stu. You have my respect.
You're welcome. Um, we'll reshoot them. I'll just take my shirt off. But
Yeah, yeah. That's what you do. You have the tattoos. You have to do. What do? They do a pump first. They work out. So they look good and
Who
veiny
the
right before the,
influencers?
I don't know, people. People when they're shooting things, and they get all jacked right before they like shoot, like whether you're a model or an actor or whatever. And no, because you know what
When
I'm
I'm
thinking
shooting
of?
things, I'm usually trying to calm down and like stop my hand shaking.
Yeah, yeah. Not that kind of shitty. I'm thinking about the Top Gun scene. Where they're all on the
Ah,
beach and the new Top Gun Maverick. And they had to, so they shot that scene and then they all went and had burgers. They'd been like fasting for weeks or something and working out and training and all that kind of stuff. And, because they dehydrate, they like bodybuilders, you dehydrate, so your skin looks really thin, so your muscles pop out. And so they finished shooting that scene. They all went and had burgers or whatever. And apparently, Tom Cruise was watching the dailies, which is like the what they were shooting that day, and was like, "Oh no, that's shit. We got to shoot it again." And then called them all out. Was like, "No, you need to come back." And they were like, ugh. I can imagine how many of them like, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
uh,
They
I
there's
would have just
videos
gone
of them.
in, eaten the burger, just be like, fuck,
They're all
I'm
there,
owning
like
it.
on the beach, pumping iron, like God, they look really muscly. But actors are generally quite small people anyway. They're not like the big jock dudes. Those guys are off playing actual football. They're like the kind of like smaller, nerdy drama kids. There's only so much you can do.
Except Tom Cruise, he's quite tall, isn't he?
All right.
Somebody looked that up. I'm pretty sure he's 6 foot, 6 foot something.
500
10
points.
points. 500. If you can prove that Tom Cruise is actually 6 foot 2.
6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, look, he could be. You never know what Scientology can achieve.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, he's 6 foot 2. That's all that matters.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, I don't know where we're going with that. I don't know how we got here.
I'm not sure what like your regular scheduled viewing is like, but
It's not this.
I hope it's
But
not
it
like
is
this.
it is
Just fucking
this
around.
though. Like I just like having chats with people, and this is kind of what our chats are like anyway. So, welcome to our lives. This is reality YouTube.
Yep, this is it. Well, I'm a big proponent of the real interaction between human beings and the messiness of it because at least you're not listening to AI right now,
That's
unless like
true.
AI's got good enough to you know stumble over words and you know forget shit, be really boring, have dead air in
It
interviews.
could do. It could do. I mean, you always got to look at the hands, right? Isn't that the thing? Like the hands, they can't get hands right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's getting better at that. I'm not sure,
I saw a girl
but
actually yesterday on my reels, and I was like, whoa, she's beautiful. And then I suddenly went, mm, hold on, clicked on her profile. And then I was like, scroll, scroll, scroll up, found a video where the hands are like, all
yeah.
messed up. I was like, oh, you AI. You're AI. No one's actually that beautiful. Come on.
And you're looking at all the messages
Yeah. Oh
from
my
dudes
God.
like, "Hey, girl."
Oh my God. All the messages. Oh, from all these men. It was so bad. I was like, I feel for humanity moving forward. I feel for our children's generation. That there was a interview with a tech billionaire. It was like the youngest tech billionaire ever to exist, and he was saying he's going to wait to have children until he can neuralink his kids so they grow up with an integrated brain. Like this is the future, people. Not for my. I'm
Oh,
trying to raise a '90s kid. I'm talking
yeah,
about like. I'll show you. I'm talking like handheld telephones that this kid is getting to use. There's no
yeah.
mobile phones here. It's like you pick this up. We've got walkie talkies going. I'm going to teach him how to play knock and run, maybe on my neighbor's house. Luckily, my neighbors are my parents. So, it's a win win, really.
That works out for you, but
Yeah.
me,
I
not so
think it's
much.
funny. um,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to teach my children the basics, like how to handwrite, how to converse with people, how to use shotguns, clean and clear shotguns,
Basic.
how to skin an animal, like just all the normal basic shit
Yeah,
that
that's
you
all
need
we
to
all
know.
learn.
How to rewind a VHS. Um,
My kid actually has a CD player with a tape on it and has my very first tape that I ever purchased with my own pocket money when I was about 8 years old. It's a Grease Megamix tape. And he was in there the other day with a pencil winding it. I was like, yes, kid, get into it.
yeah, yeah,
We watch
nice.
DVDs here. We don't watch I wish I had a VHS because I still have two VHSs. I know I have three. I have when I was in a school musical recorded on VHS. Um that's how old I am, people. I was telling my child that the very first assignment that I ever did in school, I did on a typewriter. That's how
Yeah,
old I
wow.
am. Yeah, typewriter.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. That's old.
That is
That's real
very,
old.
very old. He asked me if we had electricity when I was little before. I was like, yeah, mate, we did.
Yeah. I mean, I did ask my dad at what year did the world turn color?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because yeah,
Because I had
I
black and
thought
white
that
before.
yeah, I thought everything was black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to explain to me it was just TV. Like, oh,
Just the TV.
yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, I think it's actually a growing movement towards this. Kind of tying this back to Henry Cavill as well. This more old school behavior. I've got a very good friend who's a lecturer at a major university in Australia, and the university especially, I feel is the where hopes and dreams go to die. He goes, no, there is another hope. Hope is on its way. He said there's more and more kids rocking up to classes now with notebooks and pens. There's more and more kids who don't even own a phone.
Mm.
They don't
Yeah,
have
there's
a
a dumb
phone.
phone movement.
Yeah, there's more and more kids who he noticed just this semester, he said, who are dressing in what he would describe as a conservative and or traditional way. So
Love it.
yeah, these things, they go on cycles. They always go on cycles, and you swing the pendulum too far one way, and it's going to inevitably swing back.
100%.
Um, so yeah, I think we'll see a swing towards that, and parents who are starting to connect with other parents and saying, "Hey, I'm buying my kid a landline." Um, you know,
Yeah.
I would encourage you to, if you want to buy your kid a landline too, then we don't have to get mobile phones at all. And if they want to talk to each other, they can do that. Um, they're there in the house. We know what they're doing. They're not accessing any Roblox or any fucking pedo website, things with their phones. Um, yeah, VHS and DVDs. Unfortunately, they're starting to become a collector's thing now, so their price is starting to skyrocket. But they're still out there. People are starting to collect them, get back into it.
I had I would say from the floor to the roof of what you can see here, about that wide of that window, full of DVDs. Obviously, because I worked in the industry and we used to get free DVDs all the time. And an ex-flatmate of ours, Daniel, he got most of them. um, yeah, but I kind of wish I'd kept them. When I moved to Europe, I was like, I got to get rid of these things. Like, who uses them anymore? And he took them all. But yeah, I kind of wish I've kept some. I've kept some. And I actually had a friend today who was like, hey, I'm getting rid of these DVDs. Does anyone want them? I was like, yes, I will take Flight of the Conchords. I will take 10 Things I Hate About You. I just want the ones that I was like, oh, Hercules, Disney's Hercules. Like, yes, please, I'll have that one.
Oh, I thought you meant the Kevin Sorbo Hercules.
Oh, no, but I was thinking of downloading that and Xena, Warrior Princess, for my child to
Yep.
watch. I was like, I wonder if that's actually appropriate because, sometimes I remember things and I think they should watch that. That was really great. And then I rewatch it and I go, that's very inappropriate. Should never have shown that at all. This was a mistake. I regret everything. What were my parents thinking? They should not have let me watch that.
There you go. Just watch the never ending story.
Oh my
I
God.
watched it as a kid.
Land Before
Um,
Time. Don't do it.
yeah. Yeah, I
Devastating.
mean,
Never ending stories.
my parents were like, yeah, yeah, sure,
Watch.
Jaws, Rambo,
Yeah.
go for it. Um, it might actually explain quite a bit about me. But yeah, some of the stuff, but the new stuff, I've sat there and like I've put cartoons on, and I'm like, what? Like I wake up obviously 15 minutes later after my epileptic fit has ended, and I'm like, what the fuck are we showing our kids? Like, what is this? Utter rubbish.
Yeah.
Um, so the ones that I kind of curate what goes on the TV as much as possible, or we curate what goes on the
Mm,
TV. It's not me really doing it. Um, One thing I noticed kind of recently, I'm like watching it, I'm like, yeah, it's all pretty relaxing. It's all like
mm,
low intensity sort of stuff. I go, this is all like some of the stuff that I would watch in the 90s, some of the
mm,
cartoons from the 90s. I mean, some of the stuff I watched was outrageous.
mm.
Um, Transformers and GI Joe, Battle Cats. Like these were actually pretty high intensity for their time,
Yeah.
but a lot of the other stuff wasn't. Like
I put on the
pretty low key.
1993, I think it was, Ninja Turtles the other day.
Mm,
That was really good. I was like, yeah,
mm.
get into that. And what else did I put on? Round the Twist. That's solely Australian
Oh,
for those who are listening.
and terrifying,
Yeah, very scary. I was like, I should
right?
not have, I should not have put this on. I should not have put this on. It reminds me of the time when I remember being very upset that my parents had this rule where like I could watch something, but they had to watch it first just to make sure, which, reasonable. At the time, I thought, ugh, controlling. But I remember being very upset because they were like, you cannot watch Eyes Wide Shut. And I was like, why? It's Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Like, there can't be anything bad. They're already married. I know they're going to kiss and stuff. Like, whatever. Watching it as an adult, I was like, oh, I am glad you watched that first.
Yep, that could
Inappropriate.
have been awkward.
Yeah, because the other thing was they would often make me watch movies with them. Yeah, so we could talk about it.
Mm.
I don't want to have that conversation with my parents even now. No, thank you.
So let's talk about the penetration, the blindfolds.
Let's talk about the Illuminati.
Let's talk about the Illuminati.
They actually filmed that in the Rothschilds' mansion.
Yeah,
Mm, yep.
mm. Interesting.
Anyways, we've
That's
rambled
not what this
on.
is about.
No, we've rambled on for a while now. Basically, what we're saying is we love Henry and we love Tom and Vigo as well.
Mm.
Love Vigo. Yeah. Maybe he's our next one that we deep dive on. I'm not well versed, but I know our mutual friend Evelyn is well versed on the
Viggo
Vigo.
Mortensen.
Yeah. Maybe we should get
Can
her
we get
on.
her on?
We can
Yeah,
get her on and have a little three-way chat about Vigo.
yeah.
Um,
We could do Friedrich Nietzsche.
what a stud.
Oh man, that mustache. Are you kidding me?
Are you jealous? You just like trying to get
Yes,
it?
yes.
I thought you would suit more of a Stalin style.
No, I thought about a Hitler for a while,
Yeah.
just trying to bring it back. And when people go like, I'm like, what? It's Charlie Chaplin. What?
You just gaslight them.
It's Charlie Chaplin. Problem.
Nice. I think you
Yeah,
should
really,
try
really
for,
fell out of.
for more Kim Jong Un, you know,
Oh
get
yeah,
that real hairstyle that he's got going on.
yeah. I might have to get some hair to style it.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. We're just rambling now. I've had two whiskeys, so I think it's time I go to bed. Thank you for having a chat with me about Henry Cavill, our favorite
No
topic.
worries.
And please
Yeah,
continue to send me more reels about Henry Cavill, and I will continue to send you more reels about Henry Cavill.
I'll endeavor to do that.
Excellent. And for those of you playing along at home, if you have gotten to the required 42,162 points, then send me a message, a womanrefined@gmail.com, and I will send my respect in the email. It's a very
One,
simple
free respect.
coming your way. But Stu, tell people what you do and where they can find you and all that fun jazz. Because you do other things too, other than just talk about men and how masculine they are.
No, I mean, I do think about it a lot. Um, no, I mean, masculinity is not about necessarily thinking about masculinity. I think that's where we get it wrong in the modern world, and a lot of people really hyper focus on that. And like, if I just think about it enough and I go to enough men's seminars, then I'll get it. Masculinity is inherently embodied. It is something that you have to do, and part of my little version of it is might not be for you, but my version of it is about protecting and is about survival. So that's kind of my shtick. I have a website, ragnaroksurvival.com, which is in the process of getting worked on very heavily. So if you jump on there and go, this is shit, yeah,
It's great. Don't talk it
I
down. It's fantastic.
I spent most of today scrapping most of the site because I'm revamping
Okay,
it.
I
But
don't know.
anyway,
Scratch that.
but this is part of my philosophy anyway. I don't be like, oh, I need to keep this hidden until it's perfect and put it out there. I'm like, yeah, here's my messy shit. Just fucking, give me feedback at least. Go on there and go, this is crap, or this part I liked. Anyway, online courses are what I'm building for that. All around survival, preparedness, that sort of stuff. Making sure that you can protect yourself, protect others in the world, those that you care about, those that you love, or even just yourself if you're that kind of person. That's also cool. Yeah, or you can catch my podcast, which is I do with my brother, called the Brothers Gadenne podcast, where we kind of talk about that kind of stuff that I was talking about. Always fun, little chat, me and my brother.
Yeah, so that's
He's
Gadenne.
yes, the Brothers Gadenne podcast, Gadenne. Um, yeah, yeah, that's probably about it.
I've done one of Stu's preparedness courses and I loved it
Mm,
and I highly recommend it to everybody. I think he does a great job. Yes,
thank you.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, Stu and I used to do quite a fair bit of lives together on my old account, which was that Insta chick and had some underscores in between it. You'll figure it out. Um, and Stu and I did a bunch of lives during 2020 when we were told in Australia that, hey, you are never, ever allowed out of your homes ever again. You will be forever our prisoners. And we were like, screw that. We're going to create an alternative society and we're going to teach everyone how to not be reliant on the government anymore. And so Stu and I worked really hard at doing that. So if you are keen in that kind of stuff, if you're like a mini prepper and you're like under starting out, or if you're like, I've got this and I want to delve deeper into this, he's your man. Go check him out. He
Drop me a
knows what he's
line.
talking about. Because you're like we should tell people you're ex special forces.
I am. That doesn't necessarily like qualify you in prepping or in survival in any way, but
You
um, uh,
survived a war zone. That preps you in
yeah,
survival.
yep, there is that. And that's kind of what I do for a crust is teach people how to survive in high threat environments,
Yeah.
but also like building Ragnarok Survival in the background as well and getting that up and running. So yeah, because
You
the
got
the stuff that I
qualifications,
teach
is what I'm
is not.
saying.
Yeah, yep, yep, yeah. Some of the stuff I teach is not accessible to the average civilian. So this is my attempt to make something that is accessible for everyday people.
Excellent. So check it out, ragnaroksurvival.com.
Cool. Thanks, Loz. Thanks,
Oh,
Loz.
you're welcome. Thanks again for coming on. And I apologize to people who are watching this on YouTube or Rumble and you have little lines flashing across my screen. That happens when I have my charger in. And so I've been trying to just keep my computer alive. I forgot to charge it before I jumped on, unfortunately. I've had a very busy month. So that's what that visual disturbance is. I apologize and I'll do better for next time. But otherwise, you can find all the information in the show notes and we'll have Stu back again. Always. He's such a popular guest and I love talking to him. He's my good mate. So we'll have him back again. Thanks for coming this time though. And maybe if you know Henry Cavill, you can send this his way. And maybe if he wants to come on, he can have a chat and let us know what he's really like, if he's really an asshole.
I'm sure it's not.
He could be like Henry.
But
Come
prove
on,
it,
defend
Henry.
yourself.
Prove
Yeah,
it by
come
coming
on.
and talking to
See, we
us.
went from the same place there. You come on, prove us wrong. Defend yourself. All right, I'll talk to you later.